Hey fellow explorers, in this video I'm going to be peeling back the covers on what it's really like to be a travel YouTuber. This past weekend I attended TravelCon, a conference that's all about travel content creation. In fact, it's about the business of travel content creation. I was invited to speak there on a panel, and so not only did I get to share some wisdom, I also got to meet a lot of other travel YouTubers, and so I wanted to go behind the scenes on what the business of being a travel YouTuber is like, just what the life is like. The panel I was on was YouTube Ask Me Anything panel, focused on how to create, grow, and earn. There were 4 of us on the panel. We only had 25 minutes, and there were a lot of those questions I wanted to get to that I didn't get to there. And so I figure with an hour, I can go deeper into those things. But first, I wanted to start with just some of my observations about what it's like to be a travel YouTuber. Also, because at this conference, a lot of people that are looking to get into it. I was answering a lot of questions, and so I'm going to start with some of those observations of things that I think might be misconceptions or things that people might be like, oh, I really had no idea. So we're going to go with 10 of these observations or takeaways, and then we're going to go to 11 of the questions that I didn't have enough time to answer on the panel. All right, so my first observation being a travel YouTuber, and something that you might not realize, is that many of your favorite travel YouTubers actually have full-time jobs. That's right, even the really popular ones. For example, I have a full-time job in addition to being a travel YouTuber. I am in the software industry. Walter's World right here, Mark Walters, host of that channel with 1.1 million subscribers. He is a professor of business at a big school in Illinois. This channel right here, The Adventures of Matt and Nat, who are also at TravelCon, in addition to Mark from Walter's World. Their tagline on their channel is that they are Matt and Nat, a part-time, non-remote travel couple based out of Nashville, Tennessee, meaning that they're, like part-time on the YouTube channel, but they are working non-remote jobs in Nashville, Tennessee. That was one of their big things as part of their, we're going to visit 50 states while we're actually working like normal jobs. So, my second thing you might not realize about a lot of travel YouTubers is the ones that are full-time or have quit whatever their job was, are probably doing something else in addition to their AdSense revenue to make all of the ends meet. And so, for example, things like sponsored videos, things like affiliate links, things like selling a product or service, or everyone's favorite, selling a course. I say everyone's favorite because I feel like that's the one that everybody's leaned into that I have yet to. But Christian here from Lost LeBlanc, a Canadian who was backpacking around Asia. Now he currently lives in Bali or near Bali. And as he says, he has quit his job to travel the world. But in addition to traveling the world, making YouTube videos about it, he also has a thing called the Lost Creator Academy to teach other creators how to make YouTube videos. And while I don't look at his financials, I have everything to believe that that's probably where he makes most of his revenue. Yes, Jet and Compass right here on the live stream as I'm recording this says travel is so expensive, hence the jobs. Indeed, travel, why the revenue side of having a travel channel is important is it's expensive to make travel videos. It is more expensive to make travel videos than sketch comedy, entertainment videos. Videos that many people can do from their bedroom or the basement of their house doesn't really work for a travel type show. Jake McShane says, if I didn't have that full-time job, could I make a living doing YouTube full-time? I could not make the same living that I make with my full-time job. Could it be a living? You know, this is one where like you look at a lot of the YouTubers that have quit their jobs and you look at what are their jobs. What did they earn from their jobs? Were they baristas at Starbucks when they became a YouTuber? And yes, I could probably make a barista salary as a YouTuber, but then I also wouldn't be traveling to the same destinations that I get to enjoy. And this is one where like, I think it's like one of those, it is like fully depends on where, what type of travel, what type of lifestyle. So there we go. Art asks, if AI will replace travel YouTubers, I'm going to address that later on when we get to the Q&A. So I won't forget it. I'm absolutely going to talk about it. Okay. The third thing that you might not realize about travel YouTubers is that For those that do actually make some kind of revenue on their channel, it usually takes many years to get there. This was the panel that I was on. We have Juliana and her husband from the channel Tourist to Local, and then we have she's of the Mariana here. She's of the channel Dating Beyond Borders. They've collectively, on this panel, we were all doing YouTube for over a decade. A phrase that I heard someone say, and this is just an interesting phraseology related to like, hey, how much work this is. And by the way, I'm not trying to make this thing to be like, oh my gosh, being a travel YouTuber is the world's most awesome thing. It's amazing. I love that I get to be able to make these videos. I love that I get to share them with you. I love that those of you who are in the live stream are here to hang out. I love that people watch the archive, and I love that there's some AdSense revenue generated from it to help offset a lot of the costs to do this and make it worth a bit of Chris's time. But people often talk about passive income. They're like, oh, I want to do YouTube because you can do all this passive income. You can make all this money in your sleep. You make these videos, you make all this money in your sleep. And the quote that I heard someone say, and I don't know who to attribute it to other than the YouTuber that told it to me at the conference, but they said it was someone else. They said, if you don't know how to make money being awake, you definitely won't be able to make money in your sleep. And it turns out being a travel YouTuber is quite an active profession, because the moment that you stop making the videos is the moment that there's no views, and is the moment that any of the ad revenue just goes like this. Yes, Nick says making money when you sleep is the best. I agree, it is the best. Art says, do you have a hustle, or do you have to have a hustle and grind mentality to do it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I would describe myself as having a hustle and grind mentality. I certainly have a committed mentality. I'm committed to showing up here when I'm not traveling to do these live streams. I'm committed to trying as best I can to put out 2 other edited videos per week. I feel like there are many people who lean way too far into it, and they're like, well, if I just make more videos, then the algorithm will love me more and more people watch it and there'll be more ad revenue. And people do that to the point that they're working 18-hour days and sleeping 4 hours at night because it's just all on them if they make more content, edit more things. And so I think in order to be successful, you do have to be consistent and show up on the platform, but not for a short duration, like a lot of people go and say like, I'm gonna do this for 6 months, and then they only have 50 subscribers. I was listening to an interview with Mr. Beast earlier today, and he said, after Mr. Beast published 100 videos and had 700 subscribers, right? So there's this data. He could have easily given up at that point, but that was clearly not the giving up point for Mr. Beast, like one of the #1 creators on the platform. Kathy says, I sell online, so I make money when I sleep. Yeah, but then when you wake up, you got to ship out that stuff to those people, right? Rubatu says, and your love of the work comes through in a huge way. I appreciate that, Rubatu. Thank you very much. Okay, so the fourth thing you might not realize about travel YouTubers is that every travel YouTuber's first video sucked. And their second one sucked too. But you know what? That one sucked a little bit less. And the third one sucked a little bit less. And the next one a little bit less, until eventually they got pretty good. If you look back at, these are my first videos from 16 years ago. If you want to watch any of these, you can just go to the Yellow Productions channel. You can click on oldest, and you can go watch my original video to YouTube, Norway in a Nutshell, Oslo, Bergen, and the Fjords. You can clearly see a thumbnail design. It was not my thing. Those are all just screen grabs from the video. But with every video, I got a little bit better and a little bit better. And in order to be successful, to get to making videos that people actually want to watch, travel YouTubers absolutely have to have the mentality of, how do I just find out what wasn't great about this one and just improve a little bit each one going forward. Jet and Compass says, good videos are hard to make, but the journey is fun. That too, the journey of making them. And then, yes, related to this, you have to be able to take joy in the passion of creating, right? The time spent editing. we're gonna get to that in a moment. But I think this was one where, like, I talked to so many people at this conference at TravelCon that were thinking about starting a channel. Chris, I'm thinking about starting a channel. What do you think about this theme? Or what do you think about this? And of course, my response to anybody who's thinking about creating a channel is, Stop thinking and just do it. Just record the first video and upload it. But I feel like so many people are focused on, well, it's got to be the perfect title or the perfect niche or the perfect series of videos to launch it. Nope, nobody's first videos were perfect. They really weren't. Make something, evolve from there, and keep going. I also often get asked if I had a master plan for the channel, like if I knew that it would become like this, or I thought, or if I was trying to get it like this, and my answer's no. I enjoyed making travel videos at some point, and I used to host them on my website, like back in 2004. I'd make an MPEG file, put on my website, and I had to pay bandwidth when people downloaded those videos to watch them. And when YouTube came around and it was a free video sharing site, I'm like, hooray! I can put my videos someplace that, like, I don't have to pay money for people to watch them. Fantastic. And everybody, particularly in the YouTube space, people really seem to love the yellow branding. They're like, Chris, you were so smart with the yellow branding. And I wish I could claim a master plan on that too. Like, oh, that I knew there'd be some psychology about yellow being successful. But if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that the yellow came from Chris having a yellow car because Chris got into an accident with a drunk driver, had to have the car fixed, had to have the car repainted, decided what color should I have the car painted? Yellow would be a great color so that nobody will hit me because they'll see me. Eventually driving a yellow car, people started calling me Yellow as a nickname. When I registered a domain, Yellow, 2 W's, 1 W was taken, but 2 W's wasn't. So when I made the channel, I called it Yellow Productions with 2 W's, just like my website, which turned out later to be a huge mistake because if you type in Yellow Productions with 2 W's into YouTube, it's going to autocorrect it because it thinks you spelled it wrong. So nobody could find my channel via search. Eventually, I changed it to just Yellow Production with 1 W so that people could find it. The yellow shirt, this was not intentional either. My brother-in-law, who you might have seen in some of our vlogs that he joins us on, my brother-in-law Sean, a few years into the channel, he, for my birthday or Christmas, made some of these yellow shirts with this with this logo on it. And I wore them in a couple videos. And then when I didn't wear them anymore, people would be like, Chris, where's the yellow shirt? And so from that point, I was cursed, or blessed, we'll call it. I was blessed to wear the yellow shirt in every video that I make, unless I'm traveling, unless I'm on airplanes. People still ask me this question today. When I make some of my airplane reviews or airport walking tours or even hotel reviews, people be like, Chris, the black shirt, what gives? And when I fly, yellow's a really lousy color for in-flight entertainment because it reflects off the in-flight entertainment screen and then I can't watch my movie. So I often wear black when I'm traveling. All right. The fifth thing that you might not realize about travel YouTubers is when it comes to brand deals, you might be like, oh, Chris, you know, as a YouTuber of about 400,000 subscribers, the brand just must be like tripping over themselves to get to you. And I wouldn't say that. I mean, I'm certainly lucky to have worked with some good brands and some tourism boards, but like nobody's kicking down my door. At least not right now. At least not somebody that doesn't want to sell me like brushes or something like that. Because the interesting thing about branded content and online media is there's actually a lot of brands that aren't interested in long-form YouTube creators. They're really interested in sponsoring short-form content, particularly TikTok and like Instagram. Like Instagram creators who create reels. That is absolutely like, I feel like where the most money out of the brand deals go to. But the plight of the people who create the short videos is that the ad revenue on those things is like almost nothing. Like you can have a short video with millions of views and earn like $2 from that video. I kid you not. That is not an over-exaggeration about the diminutive nature of ad revenue on shorts. Yes, Sir Lumpy Pillow says the people who are kicking down my door, and Sir Lumpy Pillow, I really, I love your thumbnail there, especially wearing the Yellow Productions crew shirt. Is that yes, the emails that are beating down my door are absolutely hair trimmers and VPN offers. multiple a day of things that are like, how would you ever think that would make sense to put on a travel channel? The most random Amazon sellers of anything, but they just, they just figure if they blast this out to enough people, somebody's gonna take them up on it. Okay. The sixth thing people don't realize then about travel YouTubers is if the good brands aren't knocking down our doors, how do people get these brand deals? And so a lot of the successful travel YouTubers are spending a lot of time pitching themselves, cold emails, cold pitches to tourism boards, to brands. Hey, look at me. Do you want to do something cool? But, the common sentiment among a lot of travel YouTubers is most of the emails they send, they fall on deaf ears. They're just like, no responses at all. I'm not listening, la, 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 la. The other category of I'm not listening, and goes back to those hair trimmers and VPN ads, is there are tons of brands that are like, I should have pulled up one of these emails actually, but I didn't, of the people who are like, Chris, I will send you I'm going to send you a fancy USB charger for your cell phone. And all I ask in return is a 15-minute perfectly edited video that you put on YouTube. And I'd like to review it, and I'd like to make 3 revisions. And I'd like you to agree that after you receive this USB charger that is worth $9, that you'd post that wonderful edited video in 2 weeks. And I don't know if anybody takes these. I don't know if anybody takes these brands up on these offers. But you know what? General sentiment to be like, these brands that are offering things as a gift, that's exactly what it is. And if something shows up in a video, then they should feel lucky that it did. But they don't get to demand things out of the creators. The seventh thing. There we go. This was all right. That was the picture that was supposed to go with the free candy samples this way, and the kale salad this way. All right. The eighth thing that people often don't realize about travel YouTubers is that editing is often the most time-consuming part of travel video creation. People think it's the filming, but it's not. Editing a polished video takes a long time. It really takes a long time. This is me editing on the airplane, trying to get some edits done while I had some free time. So, by the way, when I edit on the road, I really love. So I use a MacBook Pro here, and I really love using a iPad as an extra monitor. So that's an iPad Mini connected as an extra monitor. This is one where I told this to many travel YouTubers at the conference, and they were all like, That's a really good idea. Why have I never thought of that? I'm like, I don't know why you've never thought of that, but there you go. What's Chris drinking today? Today, Chris is drinking what's it say it is? This is a oolong tea from Meat Fresh right here. Meat Fresh is a Taiwanese tea and dessert restaurant that specializes in a lot of taro and sweet potato desserts. Okay. The ninth thing that people don't realize about travel YouTubers is that they are rarely in the location that they post the videos about. I appreciate everybody who, when I post a video about Australia, tells me welcome to Australia. It usually turns out by the time I posted that video, I've already left. Because I had to edit the stuff. And for most places, it doesn't make sense for travel YouTubers to spend their time in the destination that they're spending money on a hotel to edit videos there. It makes more time in the destination to focus on what they can only do there, which is creation and capturing the videos. And then when they get home, and they're not spending as much money to be someplace, then to edit those things once they are at home. So if you see something and I posted about it, chances are I'm already back from there. Now, in the legacy of this channel, for the first decade plus, I edited all the videos myself. But the channel has grown to such a point I can no longer continue to do that. And so Yusaku, who many of you know, have certainly seen his editing results. Pretty much anything that has like travel guide in it, like Vancouver travel guide, Sydney travel guide, Singapore travel guide, this Friday's upcoming Japan travel guide, everything you need to know about going to Japan, those have all been edited by the editing master, Yusaku. All right. The 10th thing to know before we get into the Q&A, or Q&A of the Q&A that I've got, certainly Q&A of the questions on the live stream too, but is that for travel YouTubers, viral videos typically aren't the key to success. And certainly having a viral video is great, but having one viral hit doesn't propel you to stardom. Actually, having one viral hit often propels creators down a path to try and recreate that they can just never get to. Or they strive to recreate that, which leads them down a path to not creating content that is enjoyable and sustainable in the long term. My example of this is these are my videos sorted by most popular, and in the upper left corner there, you see the worst hotels, 5 worst cheap hotels on the Las Vegas Strip, 3.3 million views, very popular video. Somebody gave me a suggestion to make that video. Chris, when you go to Vegas, you should do that. My second most popular video were the worst tourist traps in Las Vegas. There's something in common with these two videos. They both have the word worst in them. And so this is like this interesting epiphany that like negative content does better than positive content often on YouTube. But I don't, I love that those videos perform well and I love that people enjoyed them, I don't want to be known as that guy. Like, I don't want to be known as the guy that like is full of negativity. And so I chose not to lean into that to then make the worst cheap hotels in Los Angeles and the worst cheap hotels in New York City. Anyway, that was certainly a series that many people recommended and is probably a series that would have done well. But it's a series that would not that would not fill my heart with joy. And I would just be out there making that video for the views and the subs, as they say. Okay, before I go on to the questions that I was asked during the panel that I wish I had more time to ask about creating, growing, and earning on YouTube, we're going to take a few questions and comments from the chat. So let's go ahead and clear that. Nick says healthier for me long term to not talk about the negativity. All right, thank you for that, Nick. Jet and Compass says I agree. I would rather share positive things. I am glad you agree. So it's me, Laura, as prolong and heading to bed to hang in the live. Thanks for hanging out, Laura. I appreciate it. Cottageville of Love asks, does adjusting to SEO ruin your trips or plans sometimes? I imagine doing what people want to see isn't always what you want to do. I try not to let it, essentially, right? I'm like, we do the things that we want to do, and maybe we'll pick up some things because we think people would enjoy that, or if I went there, people would like to see it. But I'm not going to do things that I don't want to do just for the views. I'm really not. And this is where, like, again, I've had a lot of people suggest ideas for videos that I could make. Chris, you could make a video on, like, how to live in Las Vegas, how to travel in Las Vegas for $20 a day. I'm like, I don't want to travel to Vegas $20 a day. I want to stay in a nicer hotel than I can afford for $20 a day. You make that video. I don't want to make that video. So, yes, Andy says the Motel 6 isn't great. No, Motel 6 is great. Rick says, are Vegas videos in general your favorite videos to do? I wouldn't say that, Rick. I wouldn't say they're my favorite videos to do. I enjoy going to Vegas. I enjoy making videos about Vegas, but I wouldn't call them my most enjoyable. If they were most enjoyable, I'd probably make more. But it's one, like, as the guy from California, 1 or 2 trips a year to Vegas, pretty good for me. I can see the new stuff in Vegas, see the new hotels, do all that stuff. I love to do that. I really do. But I don't know that I would love making twice as much cut. Like, it wouldn't fill my heart more. I'd love to go to new countries and make new destinations and make new videos about new places. So there we go. Darkson says, I'm glad you don't get caught up in Vegas content. I appreciate that, Darkson. Jen Compass says, does your family ever ask you not to bring the camera on a trip? No, they never asked me not to bring the camera on a trip. And I would say between OC Girl and the Curious Princess, I might even be the one to, like, not be recording something. This is my phone to record something. I might be the one to, like, put it down and not be recording something in a restaurant or not be recording someplace. And both of them are like, Chris, why aren't you recording this? You should be recording this. And I was just like, just kind of want to take a break for a moment. Is that okay? The Curious Princess, when we go to like indoor playgrounds, if you've been to her channel, the Curious Princess channel, it's all about indoor playgrounds and fun kids things. She'll be like, Papa, this weekend, I want to go to an indoor playground and I want you to bring your camera because I want to make a video. So there we go. No rest for Papa. That's okay. But I think that this is one where, and I don't complain about it, because it's one where when we're making her videos, we're doing it in a place that she has a lot of fun in, that I have a lot of fun making it with her. We have a lot of fun being able to watch it together. And so the same thing for our travel videos. You know, it's almost like at this point, if we didn't put it in the travel guide or the vlog, it's almost like we didn't go there. And I think that's OC Girl's perspective, to be like, oh, record this so that like we can watch it back later. Certainly for all you too, to share it with you, but it's also for us as well, right? So symbiotic relationship. Art says van life across America with Chris and family. Art, I just really appreciate that suggestion. But if you maybe gave another suggestion about like the Park Hyatt life across America with Chris and family, or the Ritz-Carlton life across America with family, we might be onto something. There we go. Art asks if I'll move to Japan one day. You know, Japan is one of those countries that it would be like, it'd absolutely be fun to live in Japan. We've certainly tossed that around, so that is definitely not off the table. And Brandon says, at least your daughter loves being in front of the camera. That was kind of one of my theories about introducing her to the camera kind of early on in life. I feel like in this world going forward that like being in front of a camera and comfortable in a camera is like a skill that will be just super useful to have, whether she does YouTube or not, because she can spend a bunch of time on Zoom and all that stuff, right? It might be called something different, but I feel like this video communication mechanism is something that's definitely not going away. All right, let's go ahead for the 12 questions from the panel that I didn't get enough time to answer, and then we'll go back to general Q&A. I saw a question in the chat about merch. We'll talk about that too. Okay, so the first question that we got on the panel, this is a section about creating. The first question we got was, how do you manage shooting high quality footage solo versus with a team? And do you have any gear recommendations for solo travelers? And so for this answer, I want to start and compare and contrast with a team versus solo. And so with a team, you can use fancier gear if you have a team, because you've got people to like look at the camera and look at the audio gear and all that stuff. So you can use a Sony a7S III with an external camera and a gimbal to put it all on. But by the time you're by yourself, you can't look at all that stuff anymore. And you really want to make sure that when you're recording yourself, you can see that the audio is working. The less cables, the better. The less batteries, the better. The less connections, the better. And so I shoot a lot now with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It's a little gimbal camera from DJI. It has a wireless mic that just comes with it. There's no wires or connections for a transmitter. You just turn it on and it connects. You can see the audio bars right on the screen of the camera. So just, it works. I've never had any technical issues with that camera, other than sometimes the audio is slightly out of sync, but we can fix that in editing. The other thing I use to record video primarily now is my Samsung Galaxy line of phones. This is the Galaxy S25 Ultra. I use this to shoot a lot of my B-roll shots, and I use this to just shoot a lot of vlogging bits that I hold it up like this, or I put it on a selfie stick to hold. I can only do that in a place where it's not noisy or windy, because the microphone on this not super amazing, and so if I'm someplace that's noisier, I'm further away from the camera, then I need to use a wireless mic. The challenge with a lot of this consumer gear is there's no replaceable batteries on these, and so I need to carry around, USB battery banks to make sure I keep all this stuff charged up every day. Here, let's put up numbers for these questions. Let's see, numbers. Which button is here for numbers? This button. 1. All right. Now on question number 2. Okay. Question number 2 for the panel was, how do you decide which location to visit and make videos about next? And so, first of all, we start with just where are the places we want to go. How do you decide where you want to go? I don't know. How do you decide where you want to go? There's just places you've heard about, you read about, you've seen videos about, you're like, I want to go. Earlier this year, was it earlier this year? Last year? I guess it was last year now. Last year, in the fall of last year, we wanted to take, plan a trip. Girl was like, Olympics, we did a lot of renovation in Paris. Let's go to Paris. We looked up flights and hotel prices to Paris after the Olympics. And they were bonkers. From like Los Angeles, it was like $2,000 for a flight. The decent hotel rooms were like $500 a night. We're like, man, Paris has lost its mind on these prices. I guess people are paying it, so probably nobody's lost their mind. Just people paying it have lost their mind. So as I was searching for flights, London flights came up from Los Angeles to London. Direct flight on United Airlines, $600 round trip. All right, that's pretty good. Well, for 3 people, spending $600 per person per flight compared to $2,000 per person per flight, $1,800 total for 3 people to go to London, $6,000 total just for the flights to Paris. We got a lot of money left over to spend on hotels in London. Like, we'll have all the flights plus hotels and meals for what we would have paid just to fly to Paris. We were considering going to New York here in the springish time. We were searching for New York flights from Southern California. Flights to New York were coming up at $900 round trip. At the same time, I found flights to go to the Big Island for $280 round trip out of LAX. Guess where we're going? We're going to the Big Island of Hawaii. Now, some things that will also influence what kind of videos we make, maybe destinations we want to go to, is I look at as a YouTuber in me, I will also look at what destinations maybe I think already have a lot of great videos, which means it's going to be competitive to make that video, and then what destinations don't have very good videos, don't have very good travel videos. For example, Guam is an example of that, where I'm like, Wendover Productions did a video on Guam that got millions of views. And when I went to search on Guam for travel guides, I was like, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. It's like nobody's done a really good travel guide on Guam. So I'm like, well, on the way to Japan, why don't I stop by Guam? Let's go make a travel guide there. The other thing, somebody asked if I think AI will replace travel content creators, and I don't think so. And here's the reason why. I feel like the personal touch is part of what people watch, and the at least the kind of content I make has us in it. And I think coming along with us for the vlogs is some of the things that people enjoy. Like, Chris, I saw you had a good time. I like the things that you like, so I'll have a good time doing similar things like that. One of the metrics that I use to be will a travel guide video be successful on this destination is if currently AI created travel guide videos are ranking in search for that destination. And they do. There are people who do this. They use AI to pull stock B-roll and photos together and have an AI voice track over it to talk about the 10 best things to do in a city. And for destinations that no human has created a good travel guide, those AI videos, they're better than nothing. But it turns out, as soon as a human creates a half-decent one, it's better than any of those AI guides, and then they don't rank anymore. Rubatu says the AI travel videos are all stock drone footage and they don't have any personal touch, and they're not even accurate a lot of the time too. So that's my issue. Art says YouTubers seemed obsessed with China these days. Why? Probably because China's reaching out to them. That's probably the short answer why. China's reaching out and saying, come here and make these videos. I have had a number of those emails in my inbox to be like, Chris, we're looking for YouTubers to come to this city in China and this city in China and this city in China. So here we go. Okay. The third question we got on the panel was what's your post-production workflow like? Do you have any software templates or AI tools that have improved efficiency? So for me, if I'm going to edit a video, my post-production workflow looks like get the footage off these, can't get the footage off the cell phone, get the footage off the Osmo, put it on my MacBook or put it on my Windows computer. If I'm doing it on my MacBook, I'm editing in Final Cut Pro. If I'm editing it on my Windows computer at home and not on the airplane, then I'm doing it in Adobe Premiere. Probably the biggest AI tool that we use is Descript. Descript is a tool that has really good audio processing. And so if we need to remove like music from the background of my talk track, then we will run the audio through Descript and apply the studio sound feature to it that really does a great job of removing any background noise from the speech. Working with Yusaku, when he edits things, I will take the footage on these devices, I'll upload them to Google Drive, and he will download them and work on editing them because he lives in Hawaii. You've seen we've done the North Shore travel guide together, and worked totally fine for us to be remote that way. All right. Question number 4 we got on the panel was, what are the biggest technical mistakes newer travel YouTubers make in filming or editing? And so I think the number one mistake that travel YouTubers make in filming is poor lighting. Poor lighting in this room. I have a lot of lights in this room. In this room, there are, I've got 2 lights on either side. I've got these lights that are in these soft boxes. I've got these, I got this little light back here that you see to cast the blue on the wall. I've got another light that you can't see over here that casts the blue light on this side of the wall. I'm not making a travel video right now. I'm making a studio video. But like in a studio, I would say these lights probably cost as much as the camera did over there. I'm not trying to flex to be like that, but I'll say that like sometimes people watch these videos, these live streams, and they're like, Chris, the video looks pretty good. And it's not just because there's a good camera there. It's also because there's some really good light to just make a nice soft light. Outside, it's important to like face the right direction. So what's the worst thing you could try to do? The worst thing you could try to do is record the sunset at the beach with you in front of it talking about the sunset, because you're just going to be a shadow. You're going to be a silhouette. And so you'll see the best travel YouTubers. When I was at TravelCon, I was shooting some collab content with Mark from Walter's World and Samuel Jeffrey from Samuel and Audrey Travel Channel. And, first thing, get outside, put the camera out, and then we all just turn. We all just turn to be like, all right, where's the spot that we need to be to get the light? All right, let's put the camera right there. So that's a skill. Brandon asks if I keep the lights all the same colors all the time in your studio, and the answer is yes. I like these lights. The color temperature of white is dialed in on those. The color temperature of blue is dialed in on those. And it all just works very well with this yellow shirt on. The moment I put a different color shirt on, then I need to adjust things a little bit because just the whole color of it is off a little bit. So yes, and it works best for me to record at night because this room has windows. You can see the blinds over there. There's windows over there, and there's a skylight over there. So in the daytime it's not as controlled, but I like at nighttime. I could totally put blackout curtains on all these things, but then I'd suffocate. And it couldn't open the window. So there we go. Okay. In editing, I think the biggest mistake that new YouTubers make in editing is poor transitions between clips, particularly the audio. Particularly having a loud clip, maybe like a lot of loud background noise, and then another clip that doesn't have the background noise. You want to overlap the clips and then crossfade the audio so that between those 2 clips, the audio transition seems seamless. The other one is people who record things like they record it on location and then they want to do some voiceovers later. The voiceovers can sound very glaringly different than the on-scene stuff because the on-scene stuff will have some background noise, and then what you record at home will just sound like your bedroom or whatever room you're recording it in, which will be really quiet. And so the pro level tip is then where if you're going to do that, if you think you're going to do that, then on location, just recording a minute of city scene or nature scene where you're not talking, nobody's talking, but you're just getting the ambient sound. And then you use the ambient sound from that clip to put it over the clip of you doing the voiceover, and then voila, you now have a voiceover that sounds a bit more like you did it on location, because at least the background harmony all comes together. Okay. Question number 5, this is in the grow section. So we covered questions about how to create. Now there were a few questions about how to grow on YouTube. So this question is, what's the most effective way you found to increase watch time and audience retention? And so to answer this, I've got 3 things I want to talk about for this answer. The first thing I want to talk about is it really helps to have a highly thought out and edited introduction to give viewers a good idea of what's to come in the video and to keep people want to watch because they've seen some of these things. On the vlogs that I do, like if we do like 3 days here, 8 days here, whatever, I will record the audio for that introduction after the trip's all done. Because if I try to do it at the beginning, I don't know all the things that we're going to do. I don't really know what it was like. I don't know if it was good. I don't know all that stuff. And so as soon as I finish the trip, maybe even while I'm still on location in the place, but like we're basically done shooting, then I will write out what I'm gonna say in like 4 or 5 sentences and be like, hey fellow explorers, we just wrapped up 8 days in the Canadian Rockies. In this video, you can join us, see the amazing sights in the metropolitan city of Calgary, and then we're gonna head into the mountain town of Canmore, where we're gonna dine on some delicious foods before we visit Lake Louise to see the beautiful frozen lake and hike up to the top of snow-peaked mountains before we walk on a glacier and drink the glacier water. Anyway, right? So that's like the introduction that I record sort of all together, but after the fact so that I know that we did those things so that I can say that stuff. The second thing I think to do to keep people wanting to watch the video, is just not having boring sections in the video. And in editing, if we watch it and it feels slow, we cut it out. I record a lot of stuff that just never makes in the video because it was slow and it was boring. And the third thing is making videos in the form of lists. Did you notice this answer had 3 sections? Did you notice this whole video is just 2 different lists? That was my first list of 10 things and this list of 11 questions, but I feel like lists are great ways to package things into digestible portions. And if you don't like my current answer or whatever I'm currently doing, you'll know that there's 6 or 7 more things to come because I'm doing this as a list. All right. My dad, Electric Rick, says, try doing a voiceover with a Mickey Mouse type of voice just for fun. My voice, having just been at TravelCon over the weekend, really the falsetto range is currently gone at the moment. So I'll have to do that later. How about I do the Mario voice? The Mario voice. It's me, Mario. See, crack. I don't have that. I don't have that high range right now. Okay. The 6th question, as in the grow section, was how do you engage and retain an audience when travel videos can be more episodic and less bingeable than other niches? And so, in travel, I feel like there are a lot of people who come to Yellow Productions once or twice a year because they're planning a vacation. They want to see if Yellow Productions has any travel guides on Hawaii, Singapore, Japan. They dive in as they're planning their trip and then they dive out. Yet there are a lot of you that are hanging out here with me right now, and I love it. These live streams is an attempt to be like, in between these informative things, let's get together, hang out, and talk about some stuff. The vlogs are ways of doing that too. And then my favorite thing is making series of the content so that if you've watched one, if you watch this video, you might enjoy this video. If you enjoyed watching my video of a travel guide to San Francisco, you might enjoy watching my travel guide in Los Angeles. Or if you enjoyed my video about the travel scams in Las Vegas, you might enjoy my video about free things to do in Las Vegas. So there we go. Question number 7 was if I've noticed any major shifts, or we as the panel noticed any major shifts in the YouTube algorithm that travel creators need to adapt to. And the first thing that's different now than 5 years ago, or even when I started, certainly way different than when I started, is one that I feel like YouTube, when it started, people watching their computers. And then they moved from computers onto phones. And then they've moved from phones onto televisions. More than 50% of the watch time on this channel comes from people on televisions. I would love to take a poll right now for people that are watching the live stream. What are you watching it on? Are you watching it on your computer? Are you watching it on your phone? Are you watching it on your television? If you could, just drop a note in the chat as to what you're watching it on, so we can kind of do a quick capture and other people can see what we're all watching it on. And I'm already seeing a few answers come in on this. Take on the City says I'm on a TV. Wu Tai says I'm on my laptop. Brandon says I'm on my iPad. Wow. Points Traveler says I'm on an 85-inch TV. Super awesome. And Miguel says the same. Apparently the 85-inch TV is popular to watch Yellow Productions on. Wu Tai says, how do we optimize for TV? One of the things that I just has a takeaway for this is, and this was something I learned at travel, like I learned going to this conference. I never had this epiphany, is that in a video where I say like, hey, if you want to know more, click the link in the description. If you're watching on television, it's really hard to like click the link in the description. How do you even do that? I mean, it's hard. And so I'm going to start putting QR codes on the screen in some of my videos in the future. The Japan travel guide will be the one coming out this Friday, will be the first one that we're going to start putting QR codes on screens, so people who are sitting on their sofa watching on TV, if they want to like click the link, they can use their phone to click on that. So there we go. Lots of televisions, iPads, tablets. Kathy gets a gold star because she is on her phone on the plane. It's awesome, Kathy. That is dedicated. Ed's on both TV and phone. So very cool. Thank you, everybody, for entertaining me. And not just entertaining me, but validating those thoughts in the chat. The eighth question that we got on the panel was, how do you balance making content for the algorithm versus making content that you enjoy personally? And this is something that I feel like I've covered a little bit already just in the general chatter of this video, which is I make what I enjoy. But I think about the packaging, and I think about what kind of search terms I can hit with the series of videos that I can cover, so that the search terms can draw in and new people can find the channel. The 5 Japan kind of like things to know videos that you might have seen published over the last week about when to go to Japan, what Japan is like with kids, the Japan food guide, the Japan hotel guide. Those are all small excerpts out of the 1 hour plus Japan ultimate travel guide that's going to be dropping this Friday. I didn't originally intend to publish or make them as separate guides, but after I watched this long hour and 10-minute video, which I think will be useful for a lot of people that are going to Japan, I was also like, there's probably a bunch of people that don't want to watch an hour and 10-minute video, but are just interested in some of these tactical things that they're going to search YouTube for. These are like terms people search YouTube for, and so we pulled out these little mini episodes to be able to just answer those questions for the people that are directly looking for that. Because if I would have made a video titled Japan Travel Guide, then people who are searching for what's Japan like with kids would never get served the Japan Travel Guide, even though there's a 5-minute section in the video that totally answers their question. Star says, Japan, how to use the trains. Definitely one of my big videos, and it is a large section of the upcoming travel guides too. Okay. Scott says, I also enjoy that too. I try to make sure I post videos which I enjoy filming and enjoy wanting to share with everyone. Yeah, and I think on this note, I think that you all are smart people. And so you like to watch people who seem to enjoy what they're doing, and at the moment they don't enjoy what they're doing is the moment you're like, you've lost all passion for life. Why do I still watch you? Hello Kitty says, do you have a production team? Depends what you consider production team. I've got Yusaku to help edit the Yellow Productions videos. I've got OC Girl, my wonderful wife, to help me run camera, and I've got the Curious Princess to be comedic relief in the videos. So there we go. That's the Yellow Productions production team as it stands. Okay, now I got a few questions to talk about profit on YouTube. How does that all work? And so question number 9 was to the panel, what is your opinion on sponsored videos? Do they perform as well compared to unsponsored videos? And do you think they're worth doing? My opinion, I guess everybody has a different opinion on sponsored videos, but my opinion on sponsored videos is that the only sponsorships or brands or things like that I'm going to take to be on this channel are things that, one, align with the content that we're creating, so it has to be like travel related. 2, it has to be something that I uniquely think spending my time to create and spending your time to watch will deliver value to some subset of the audience. You know, I've done some luggage reviews that I genuinely think like, this is a cool suitcase, and so making a video on it is something that will benefit some people who are deciding whether or not to buy that suitcase. You know, working with SimLocal on eSIMs, I've genuinely used their eSIMs, and they've been great for me. And so if I can pass on a 10% discount code that can also earn Yellow Productions a small commission when you buy it, I think it's a win-win for all of us. And so that's generally how I personally approach brand sponsorships on the channel. Do they perform as well compared to unsponsored videos? I think at the point when the integration is natural and generally provides value, I think they do. I think at the moment that the entire video seems like an ad is the moment that they probably don't. The 10th question that we got for the panel was, how have you diversified your income beyond YouTube ad revenue, and what has been the most reliable income stream? And so there were a bunch of questions in the chat about this, which is why I just didn't answer them as they were coming up, because we're going to hit it here. And so YouTube AdSense by far is the most reliable income stream for Yellow Productions. Facebook used to be good, but like Facebook is down 95% of what it used to be 2 years ago. It's really kind of limping along at this point. I can't say I really understand Facebook and their monetization program. In order to be able to have the resources to make more quality content for y'all, go more places, invest in the better gear, lights, all that stuff, you know, I have done some brand integrations that add value. So those are probably the second most reliable income stream to YouTube ads, although I continue to say no to 95% of offers. There was a question about merch. Chris, do you make a lot of money on merch? I think at this point I give away. I give away more shirts than people buy, but that's okay. I just, you know, like when people wear their yellow shirts and send me pictures and they put them in their thumbnails and this and that, I'm genuinely humbled, amazed, happy, all those sorts of things. So I just love to be able to put a little bit of Yellow Productions in people's lives. Okay. Number 11. Question number 11 was, have you ever turned down a brand deal? If so, why? And how do you make that decision? Well, as I said, I say no to most offers, but I guess those are probably just not even responding to them. What are the ones that I've gotten through some discussions and said no to? And so there's one the famous, there's been more than just this one, but the famous one I love, because I think it's just a great discussion about this world of influencer marketing, was a company that wasn't even like sponsoring a video with dollars, but it was like one of these charger things. You know, Chris, do you want this? It was like a fancy camping charger, like a super big battery pack that you could bring along with you in your car to take when you're camping to like power your devices for like days. You know, because I made some Death Valley road trip videos and things like that. I'm like, oh, like something like that would be like cool on a road trip to just have the power with you whenever you go. Anyway, this company, before they got to send me the thing to like potentially make a review video of it, looked through my channel, saw that I made videos on Taiwan, saw that in the videos about Taiwan, I had I'd showed the Taiwanese flag. And they were like, well, Chris, we've looked through your channel. We see you've made videos on Taiwan. The Taiwan flag is very controversial. And so we would ask if you'd like to continue with this brand deal for you to unlist those videos where you show the controversial Taiwanese flag. To which I told them they could go ahead and pound sand is what they could do. And then when I went to Taiwan on our last trip, I made sure in the thumbnails of those videos to hold the Taiwan flag up to make sure that anybody that wanted to work with me didn't have a problem with that flag. And if they did, they saw it very, very early on. Okay. The 12th and the final question that we asked for the panel before we go to general Q&A on the channel is, for the live stream, is what is your workflow for balancing real-time travel vlogs with edited, polished travel guides or cinematic content? Okay, so for me, I guess I just don't even do cinematic content. You know, I'm not the guy. You hear it on my channel intro. You know, if you're here for drone shots and backflips off waterfalls, you're probably in the wrong place. This is not the Wanderlust channel. This is the educational and informative travel guide channel. And either I'm educating you about going to a place that you're maybe thinking about, or I'm in an entertaining way on a travel vlog educating you about a place that we went to. So for me, the Paul's Travel Guide is what performs best. Sydney Travel Guide, Vancouver Travel Guide, Singapore Travel Guide, Las Vegas Travel Guide. But they're a lot of work. A lot of work to make one of those videos. Lots of shooting, lots of research, lots of editing. But, you know, when I'm in some place like Singapore, creating that video with 5 days, I can also create 10 other videos. Hotel reviews, hawker guides, all that stuff. And I've been last couple years, leaning into the vlogs too, to be like, oh, like what's all the stuff we did in those 3 days or 5 days or 8 days? There's a lot of people that are kind of looking to plan that itinerary. So we put that together as well. For the ones that make sense, like I'll decide basically on all those videos we're gonna shoot on a trip before we go, and then I'll outline them all in Google Docs, and then I'll record segments of them while we're there, and as I record them in the Google Doc, I will highlight them a different colors. Like I'll highlight the text green for that block, and then I will put what camera I recorded it on, and I will put what day I recorded it on, so that as we're after the fact trying to put this video together and decipher what day was it, where was it, we can try to easily find the different sections of the video that come together. I don't always shoot all the things that I set out to make. Sometimes I'm more optimistic about what the content I think I can create than I do, but that's maybe like an 80% success rate. For the airline reviews that I've been doing, I do those a little differently in that, like, a lot of the stuff that I do, it's just like me speaking on camera, in front of camera. For the airline reviews, because it's obnoxious to, like, talk loudly on an airplane about what you think about the lousy food or the tiny seat, I record all the B-roll on the plane with my phone, and then I write in my Google Doc all my thoughts, and then when I get to the airport at the destination, or when I get to my hotel room, then I sit there and orate all the things that were in my notes, that then becomes the full audio for the hotel, for the airline review.
Fellow explorers, it is now Q&A time. If you've got a question, I've got an answer.
All right, fellow explorers, it is now time not just for me to take these questions from the panel that I didn't get a chance to answer, but to take some of your questions live for those who are on the live stream. If you're watching the archive, drop your questions in too. I will answer those comments asynchronously. Jet and Compass says, how has your vlogging style changed over the years? Have they always been educational? Yeah, I think I would say my vlogging style is I probably started more in the, like, let me tell you about our, almost like the family vlog sort of style. But then, like, if I make a family vlog about Japan or something like that, like a 3-day trip. 3-day trip to Japan. Nobody takes a 3-day trip to Japan. Like 7-day trip to Japan. People would ask me all these questions about, like, Chris, did you take the JR Pass? Where did you stay? What did you eat? And so then I absolutely started breaking more just into the educational, informational things. But then over the last maybe few years, ever since having the Curious Princess around, then we've pulled in kind of like that family vlogging aspect back into the channel to make those, I'll call it more casual videos, along with the educational and informational videos. Cottage Full of Love says, I'm so excited for the Big Island videos. Can't wait. We are so excited too. Meritocratic Mafia says, do you think too many credit cards are offering lounge access? It cheapens the experience. Yes. I think that, like in particular, I think what cheapens the experience is when nobody can get in the lounge. Coming back from Tucson, I was in the Phoenix airport on a Sunday at 8 p.m. and the American Express lounge there, line out the door, long line of people waiting to get in. And the Chase lounge, same deal. Like I couldn't get in either of the lounges. I have both credit cards for both credit card lounges. Couldn't get in. Pretty worthless to have a lounge if you can't actually get into it and you got to wait around for 2 hours. Not very luxurious or relaxing. Ed says, have you ever considered tossing in craft breweries that might be in areas that you're visiting? Certainly considered it. I'm not a huge beer drinker, and so that's why we tend not to do that. Jonathan Johnson says, have you ever made a vlog comparing the cost or route differences when traveling to the same destination for both the East Coast and West Coast, such as from Atlanta and LAX? No, I haven't. I'll think about that, though. Tiger and Goomer says, what's the best camera to start my channel? DJI Osmo Pocket 3. There you go. Or whatever cell phone that you have. Points Traveler says, have you ever dealt with a copyright strike on YouTube? Once. My one copyright strike story for you is during COVID. I made a short video about like the Planet Hollywood reopening, and I pulled I went to images.google.com and I pulled a picture off there, which turned out it was by Maverick Helicopters, and they put a copyright. That's our picture. You can't use it, which sure enough, I shouldn't use their picture. Ever since then, I've been a lot more careful about the pictures that I source or ones that I've taken or ones that I find on Wikipedia that I know are in the public domain. So there we go. There's tons of people that use my videos and repost them, and I don't really do anything to them. I figure, especially if I'm in them, I'm like, hey, knock yourself out. More publicity for Yellow Productions. Electric Rick asks if I ever find senior lounges at airports. No, really not a thing. More kids lounges though. Like more and more airports are putting in like little indoor playgrounds in airports. Christopher says, what's your favorite destination you've traveled to and recommend? Favorite country that we traveled to is definitely Japan. We have over 150 travel videos on Japan. I also really like Singapore. Those are like sort of like Asia destinations. Secret Girl's from Taiwan, so if I told you Taiwan, it seems like I would be too close to home, but we certainly go to Taiwan quite a bit. In Europe, we really enjoy Vienna. We enjoy London because it's cheap and easy to get to. We really enjoyed going around Switzerland as well, and of course we always enjoy Italy for the food, not so much for the pickpockets. And then within the USA, New York City, great city to go to. We always love traveling to Hawaii. And we've recently really enjoyed our travels to Canada, particularly to Vancouver and Whistler and Banff. Okay, there you go. Probably a longer answer than you were looking for. Point Travis says, would you ever visit the Middle East? Yes, I would ever visit the Middle East. By the way, to that favorite list of things, I should have added Australia too. I really enjoy Australia. It's far. It's far from here. But I enjoy Australia. I enjoy the Australians and I enjoy the kangaroos. I'm really concerned about the koalas that are the drop bears. Koalas, the legend is in Australia, they hang out in the trees and then they wait for unsuspecting tourists, non-Australians. They won't do this to Australians, but they will do this to visiting tourists. Tourists that come under them, the koalas, they'll actually drop down and like eat your brains. That's what they say. There's some of these zombie koalas, so be careful, tourists in Australia. Meritocratic Mafia says, have you ever considered visiting Antarctica? Not seriously. We don't really like boat travel, like cruise travel. OC Girl gets seasick, and so to get to Antarctica, you kind of have to be on a boat for a while, so that's kind of off for us. Larry says, I'm heading to Banff Lake Louise in October this year. I've watched your Canada series multiple times. We'll plan to watch them as we get closer. Awesome, Larry. Hopefully they are helpful for you. Alex says, I really need to come to Oregon. Sleeping on amazing, how much amazing stuff there is. All right, thank you, Alex. And Kathy says, we were just in the lounge at Cairns. Would you pronounce that Cairns? Cairns? Not sure. That was really nice. All right. Awesome, Kathy. Point Charlie says, are you scheduled to be at any other conference panels in the future? Not at the moment, but if I am, I will certainly let you all know. If you're running a conference or you're on the organizing committee for one, Yellow Productions is definitely available for speaking engagements. Okay. PH says, what do you think about the use of AI-generated art and clips in YouTube videos? I'm okay with it, PH. I'm okay with it, assuming that they're generated for useful reasons. And by that, I mean, like, you know, if I couldn't get, I don't know, like I wanted a picture of 3 pandas with their, like, ears like this to be like, I'm not listening, you know, and I went to Adobe thing and so like generate a picture of 3 pandas like this. I think that's okay. I think the point that it's really not cool is when it starts to like, people try to create them to show fake things. I was watching a video by Christoph, name of the channel, works with Johnny Harris, and he recently did a video, I think he published it just a couple days ago, about like the end of Facebook.com, and he talks all about this AI slop and all these pictures that are being posted to Facebook that are not based on reality and are only being posted to get the clicks and are all fake things, and so that all is pretty weak. Alex says, cheers to almost 400K subscribers. Thank you so much, Alex. Janelle says, amazing, almost 400K. Yes, what are we? We're at this room. I don't have the numbers up, but 380 something. What's the number? You know, this is just one in posterity about when people watch this sometime later. What is it? 379,445. So yeah, right. 400K subscriber celebration coming soon. Just find 20,000 of your closest friends to hit that subscribe button. Our Disco Tube says, have you done any videos on the Monterey area? I have a walking tour of the Monterey Pier and a hotel review of the Marriott Monterey, and a short about the McDonald's in Monterey that is the McDonald's in the world with a black M. They don't have yellow M's, they have a black M. Okay.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
All right, fellow explorers, it's time for a giveaway. In every video, I always give away a Yellow Productions crew shirt. In this video, I'm going to be giving away this one, the I Love Breakfast Buffets shirt, to someone lucky that can answer one of my questions. And my question for you is, in my example of some of your favorite travel YouTubers that have jobs, I brought up 2 channels. What are the names of the people that are the hosts or creators of those 2 channels? Looking for first names, and I'm looking for all the first names of those creators of the 2 channels, which is 3 people total, all on one line. So if you're the first person to put that together, you will win that shirt. Well, one in your size, shipped directly to you. If you want to buy one, you don't get to win one, you can pick one up on the Yellow Productions shop, and links in the description below. I should put a QR code on the screen. I'll work on that. And if you want to know when is the next live stream, you can sign up for my email list, the Yellow Productions Update, and I will send you an email as soon as I have a live stream scheduled, so you'll know what the topic is and you'll know what the date is.
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
Congratulations to dun 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 dun. There is a winner here. There is a winner here. Let's see. I saw it. This was this. Here. I need to do this filter differently. Oh, interesting. Nobody has the right answer. There are in fact no winners at the moment, so maybe there will be winners in a second. Okay, they all have to be on the same line. Okay, let's see. How do we take off this filter? Okay, so answers that we've got so far. We've got 2, 1. We've got Walter's World, which is the name of the channel, but we're looking for 3 first names all on the same line. Walter's, Matt, and Nat. We're getting close to Matt and Nat, but Walter's not the first name for Walter's World. We have Walter, Mark, and Nat. His first name's not Walter. His last name is Walter. So, okay. I think we're nearing in on, here we go. Now we have a winner.
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
Congratulations, Fenway Chris. Is it Chris Fenway? Fenway Chris, you were the first person to put Mark, Matt, and Nat all on the same channel. That's right, we have Mark here from Walter's World. Everybody calls him Walter, but Walter's his last name. Mark is his first name, and we have Matt and Nat, the two that I talked about a bit. So, Fenway Chris, send me an email to chris@yellow-productions.com. You'll find it in the description below. Let me know your address. Let me know your size. I'll get that shirt headed right out to y'all. Fellow explorers, always a pleasure to hang out with you today. And as usual, I won't say goodbye because I'm going to see you in the next video.